Trade recap 10/17/2025. What a weird fucking day. And I'm gonna preface this. Not amazing. Like, not horrible. I fucking about as close to break even as you can get. I think I lost like $50 today. Which obviously we're ending the week pretty good with basically Monday didn't trade, Tuesday didn't trade, Wednesday, good trade. Thursday, good trade. Today, basically didn't trade because we had a break even trade. I will say, I've been very sleep deprived lately, which doesn't really help with the whole trading thing. And yeah, that's mainly what attributed to today's trade not being a winner. Um, but it's kind of the thing. If you're trying to like get rich and make money through like multiple pathways and you're actually trying to be successful, sometimes you're going to lose sleep. And unfortunately this week was a big one for that. I was losing a lot more sleep than usual, but it's okay because we've been fighting back against that by making sure we get our 400 milligrams of caffeine every day, which I think this is going on like 500 or 600. This is really good though. It's a fucking maple brown sugar cold brew. So I was thinking last night during some of my landscaping business work and then also like during school and shit today. And this is probably a better way to go about this shit is obviously like if this shit's gonna get in my way, trading's like big priority. So if this shit like on my screen all around here is gonna get in my way if like I trade a like one bias and then it's over and I trade the other bias and it's gonna get in my way, I'm gonna delete it. But my plan for most days, if I'm just trading on a singular bias, is just leave all this shit on my chart and then literally just go to replay trade and go to the exact like times I entered and shit so I can make it kind of as authentic as possible. So that's what we're gonna more or less do. Yeah. Minus $49.59. 216. So when the fuck was priced at 216.99? And when was it going down? I think right about here. Let's just look at the actual fucking chart. Maybe that would be a good idea, huh? Mm. Oh shit, I remember. I was out of fucking class. So I didn't get the entry I really wanted on this. So, realistically, shit. Get rid of this shit. This is irrelevant right now. So, kind of a weird fucking day, to be quite honest. We were, yeah, so just to like kind of get an introduction to the backstory, I really wanted, let's go in the 50s. Okay, so I really wanted to like get in on the first candle to break the structure of this low. We didn't do that. I don't know why I just said that shit with a lisp, but that's gonna fucking piss me off. But we got in on the second displacement, which kind of pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie, but it's fine. Um, so we were sort of moving in a minor uptrend for a little bit here. Um, so we were kind of expecting this uptrend, which let's use common sense here. We invalidated this trend. Holy shit. You could view it as pretty much 100% extension, invalidating the trend, or you could view it as filling this order block, which would be validating a downward trend. Either way, neither ways really, holy shit. God damn. Okay. Either way, it's not really a super solid trading bias. We were we were expecting more of a shallow pullback So this is what market gave us when we were in school taking the trade, so we're going to take what we get. So we're expecting a shallow pullback, and then off of that shallow pullback, we're expecting to go up to here. And then we're expecting, because this is the 79, 62% between this actual high and like this low down here. Anyways, so we're expecting, if we get a BOS here, we're going to trade downtrend until about a 62, 79% extension, then flip our bias towards this. And then inevitably we drive down from this zone into this zone. So that's kind of our bias for next week at least. We'll see what gets taken out at the end of this session. And kind of that's how we'll move forward for the rest of the week. Unless next week, or I mean this week, according to last week's bias, I had like a free fucking 10 bands like for a day or two in a row. So Monday was closed. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, I should have had like a free fucking 10 bands. But over the weekend, somehow fucking market moved 100 pips, so that completely invalidated the bias. So I'm kind of done with planning bias over the weekends. But no. So yeah, that's basically the background. We're expecting a minor retrace, and then we're expecting a major upward move. So I even fucked up my risk here. I meant to risk like 1,000. I only risked like 800. The way I do my positions is you can kind of just tell 10 pips. So if it's 10 pips, your stop loss away from your entry, then you're doing $1,000 risk. You're going to want 10 lots. It's just basic knowledge like that. Then I like to fact check it with ChatGPT just to be sure. But no, we fucked up our position a little bit. Otherwise, we probably would have just full take profited for like a band down here. But yeah, that's what we were expecting. We were expecting retrace down to here, up here, down here. Anyways, so this is going to be way too fucking fast, so we're going to slow that bitch down. Even this might be a little fast for what I'm trying to do. Okay. Okay, market actually paused. Thank fucking God. So, yeah, entries about right here. Put our fucking short position. We already told you our biases. And why are we not looking for an individual candle pattern or a micro BOS? Anyone know the fucking answer? Because there's no clear, obvious liquidity target. We stalled here, and then we literally broke. It's not macro structure, but it is bigger structure. You know, from this high to this high is like almost an hour of price action. So if you get an actual break of structure like that, yeah, you can fucking enter on that. And then we were thinking, this is our exact thoughts for this individual trader. We were thinking $1,000 risk here. Then, if we get a re-entry into this order block, $1,000 risk for a better entry, because the difference on that is, say we enter here, then, so say we enter $1,000 down there, whatever, just chip in the move, you know, getting like a band, and then say we re-enter around this order block with another $1,000, then that's a $6,000 move right there, and we're not fucking ourselves over from this micro move. Anyways, whatever. So, you know, enter off this break of structure candle, which I will say, after the trade was in, price action was pretty clear and defined with what it wanted. So we did see a micro BOS here that could have kind of invalidated our bias. We had like this wick. I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly like shitting myself. When I was in journalism and I saw this fucking big ass wick coming up, I wasn't liking that, but then as soon as I saw this wick, I was feeling really fucking good. But yeah, we get that, whatever, and I think it's somewhere around here. Right here, that shit kind of scared me. We did get a micro BOS, but you can kind of see we like overshot the shit out of this 38% extension, so I didn't really think it to be like a what's it called? It to be a clear like invalidation really. Let's see where we took our first partial. I don't think we took it quite yet. Maybe we did, Loki. No, I don't think we. Maybe we did. I don't fucking know. I'm fucking tired of shit. This is also moving. You got to keep in mind, this is moving a lot fucking faster than it was in the like in the moment. Okay. So, no. We held out to this and then we saw this like kind of double move, which kind of scared me, but then this candle kind of like fed our bias, so I wasn't too worried. Let's slow this down a little bit. So, I think we got micro BOS right around the 62% zone, which looking back, I don't know, I closed like a third of my position. Looking back, obviously I'm still making mistakes. Everyone's gonna make mistakes when it comes to this shit. We probably should have closed out like at least half of our position, because that, once again, you want to take heavy partials if you're going against the trend. But yeah, so as soon on this micro BOS here, upon candle closure, we closed out like a third of our position, which wasn't bad necessarily. I want. Well, let me see my individual like partials, but that was a pretty good partial to take. Um, but then again, I was kind of in the mindset, and this is the mindset I'm always trading with. Why do I give a fuck whether I lose like $500 or win $500? Like, I don't give a shit about that. And we are also, I want to also mention this. We were we were kind of around midday slump, which doesn't help, but um we were in a pretty defined like downtrend, as you can see off of this. Now we did retrace to the higher time frame liquidity, so that sort of invalidates it. So that's why if really to make this a better trade and to like constitute a re-entry, it would have to be way earlier in the morning so that we actually had some volatility. And then we would have like gotten in off like an order block move here or some shit like that. Um, and if we didn't already fill directly to the zone, because that's a pretty bad confluence. So more or less for the rest of this trade, we set our definitely not our open position. We set our stop loss here, and we're like, this completely invalidates downward bias. So if it hits, it hits, and it's a break even day since we scaled partials. And I think that's exactly what happened, because that was really our plan. As you can kind of see, this was me as I was planning it out, especially with this downward bias being this strong. We were kind of thinking that we might catch a trend reversal. So we were thinking we'd scale probably like a third of our position here, scale another third there, and then just leave a runner till either here or the 120% extension, which that's another thing that was pretty confluent with this trade. Absolutely this is 62 79% extension, and that's also a massive fair value gap if you use like higher time frame analysis. Shit, this was made a fucking while ago, but you see this massive ass fucking fair value gap down here. So this, in theory, this was actually a very like thought out and well together trade. It just didn't hit. But no, we ran past stop loss and then we kind of just shot up, which was one of our predictions. But yeah, once we got to a certain point, I think we just stalled out. After my trade was done, and after my trade's like done, and I'm not, and it gets like midday liquidity, I kind of just don't watch market because it's like FOMO trading, all that bullshit, I guess. But no, completely invalidates that downward idea. And now we'll probably get a move to the 62%. We end. Is it almost okay? So we end over here, I think. So yeah, right about here maybe. Or shit, nope, I'm fucking slow. That's the wrong fucking setup. We're gonna end around here. Yeah, 16, because 4 p.m. So we end right there. So depending on what market does over the weekend, we're really expecting something down here. And then I'm really obviously you can never be too sure, but I'm really strongly assuming that we're gonna get a fucking move into this zone, and then I think we're going to finally close this big ass gap that was made at the start of the month. But so, what is invalid now? Well, not this, but this zone's definitely still going to be valid. This doesn't really matter because we have a trend continuing outside of it. So we're really just looking for something in here if we want to trade anything bearish for the upcoming week. But like this, we already retraced down to. Okay, so I might have been bullshitting. No, I wasn't. Okay. Alright, retrace down to this. Retrace this liquidity is taken out, this liquidity, this liquidity. Because you gotta think, this is all in context of this high. So if we have a new higher high, then literally all of these different, like, which that's not completely invalid actually, because, so say this likely will not be the established high, but say this was the established high, what we'd be thinking is, unless we get like a clear lower low, which obviously at that point we're going to probably be dipping into this. So off of this, we're really thinking we'd want to get this shit off. That's not the fucking right way. So off of this like market structure, say this was an established high, we're probably going to scale some sort of partial in this zone, particularly leaning more towards here. So say we had a like 10 lot position realistically, we'd probably scale out like two lots somewhere around here, just in case, especially since we didn't take out this zone yet, we'd be really like conservative here. We'd probably take out a lot more. But say we take out like this upside liquidity, we really, there's a chance we go up, but there's not really any reason for market to go up because that's the strong retrace zone between that high. So we'd literally have to terminate this high to invalidate this zone. But no, say this is the high that gets established. We'd be thinking 10 lot position, scale out 2 lots between this zone, scale out 2 lots between this zone. Now this is if we get like a clear micro BOS or some sort of invalidating circumstance, then we scaled out 4 lots at that point. And then just retracing to this last low, we'd probably scale out like 3 lots. And then we'd leave 3 lots to run to this 127% extension, which would be in here. So I mean, if you get a fucking trade in there, even like kind of a subpar trade, you could make a fuck ton of money off of this zone. Now, keep in mind this is 202.864 to fucking 200, 280. Do the fucking math. That's the fucking 200, 300 pip move, so we're not expecting that in one fucking session. That's unheard of. But well, it's not unheard of. It's happened before. It's very rare. But so, like, say we get our micro BOS here. This is the top of the move, which, since we're in the 62 to 79% retrace, it's a deep ass retrace. So you wouldn't have to put your stop loss up here. You could put it at wherever you think it's going to stop getting higher. You have $1,000 risk there. Scale out 1 partial. Scale out 2. So 1/5 of your position here, which we'll just do. I'll do this math for you guys too, just because I'm fucking nice as shit. Calculator, fucking. So, we'd realistically, something this high confluence, we're at least risking $2,000 on, not gonna lie. So, say we scale out 2,000 times, 1/5, so 0.2, because we're scaling out 2 lots. And then multiply that by 3.63. So, off of this mark, we would already be up 1,400. Off of this mark, then we do the same thing. So let's just do 1/5 of 2,000. What's that? 400. Okay, so scale out 2 more lots at this point. Then we're at 3,600, and we scale out 3 lots here. Which, when you're taking, especially if you're trading with the trend, if you're taking partials, like you're only take small partials to give yourself some sort of reward if the move's not fully done, just so that if market does happen to reverse, like at least you caught something. But it's not like when you're trading against the trend where you actually have to get your money in because market's prone to reverse. It's likely not gonna in a circumstance like this. So in 8.24, okay, so we just fucking got rid of that. That's really not good. Fucking spam caller. That fucking is annoying. Okay, so then 3 out of 10, 3/10. 30%. Okay. So that's $600. That should not have taken that long. So times 8.24. Then we're at 8,500 for this fucking trade. And then we scale out the rest at this 120% extension, which would be 600 again, times 10.7. Then plus our last fucking trade. It's 85.60. So we're realistically, we're probably gonna make more than this because we're gonna get in on the individual trends and the ups and downs. But just between this point and this point, if we traded it as one move, we'd make like 15 bands. Which isn't bad. But nah, that's kind of just like the trade overview and then what we're kind of expecting out of the gate. Take it all with a fucking grain of salt. Cause who knows, fucking Powell, even though he doesn't even fucking do the JPY and GBP type shit, and he's an American fucking position, he could fucking blow the market. Fucking whoever the Brits guy is, I don't pay attention to that shit. He could blow the market. Anyone could blow the market. So take it with a grain of salt, but it's a pretty high probability move. Anyways, let me get on the next video. Y'all have a good one.